What is up, Broncos fans? The Denver Broncos show back here again to do another video. In this video, I'll be talking about the Broncos' 27-21 loss to the Atlanta Falcons on Monday Night Football. We fell to 1-1 with this loss. Not a very good performance by us, kind of a disappointing performance by the Broncos here against the Falcons, but this is a game that you kind of just gotta let be and move on to, because if we let this loss linger going into our game this Sunday against the Houston Texans, we're going to be 1-2. So tough loss, disappointing performance, but kind of gotta get over it and move on to the next game. The Broncos had 336 total yards of offense here in this game. We had 218 passing yards and 118 rushing yards. We outgained Atlanta in this game, which was good to see, but at the end of the day we lost, so it really doesn't matter. But we did a pretty decent job, especially in the fourth quarter, of moving the ball pretty effectively on the Falcons defense, and we did a pretty damn good job all game of running the ball here against the Falcons defense. The Falcons, on the other hand, they had 275 total yards of offense, 208 passing yards, 67 rushing yards. I thought defensively we did a pretty good job of not giving up any really big plays through the passing game, and we did a great job of shutting down the Falcons run game. Michael Turner really had to earn every yard he got in this game, and I thought we did a great job of really being physical as a defense against the Falcons offense, and did a great job of kind of swarming the ball carrier and making them really fight for 2 or 3 yards. So I thought defensively it was a pretty decent game, and we did a real good job of shutting down the Falcons' rushing attack. Now talking about some of the good things we did here in this game, starting with the offense. Not much to really be happy about if you're a Broncos fan in terms of what our offense did here against the Falcons defense. I thought we ran the ball pretty effectively, though. As I mentioned earlier, we finished with 118 rushing yards. We averaged about 4.4 yards per carry against this Falcons defense, and we had 2 rushing touchdowns. You like seeing that. I thought we did a real good job of running the ball all night. I thought our blocking kind of broke down in the run game a couple times here, but our offensive line did a good job of picking it up and did a real good job of giving Willis McGahee some running lanes there in that second half, especially the fourth quarter. And Willis was phenomenal. He was one of the few players on the offensive end who really showed up for us in this game, and I thought our rushing attack was pretty effective here against Atlanta. We outscored the Falcons 14-0 in the fourth quarter. You like seeing that. I thought we showed some resiliency here in this game against the Falcons. I mean, we were down 27-7 going into that fourth quarter, and to outscore them 14-0 in that quarter, showing that fight, showing that resiliency, as I mentioned, was great to see, and just showing heart and toughness. I think that's something we can look to build on what was a real bad performance and tough loss for us. Defensively, I thought we did a lot of good things here in this game for what was a disappointing performance and loss for us. The defense is really put in a hole right away by the offense, which was unfair to them, but given the circumstances, I thought the defense played pretty damn good here against the Falcons. Atlanta only had 67 rushing yards. They only averaged 2.4 yards per carry as a team. Michael Turner had 42 rushing yards himself and only averaged 2.5 yards per carry himself. I thought we did a great job, as I mentioned earlier, of swarming Atlanta's running backs, whoever was the ball carrier, and doing a great job of really not giving up any space whatsoever defensively. I thought our defensive line really didn't play all that well. We didn't really get a great push up front. We didn't really win that battle in the trenches. I thought Atlanta's offensive line outplayed our defensive line, but we did a great job every time Michael Turner got a yard or two of just having 5 or 6 guys right in his face and really not giving him any space to operate in. And I thought that was a big reason why we were able to shut down Michael Turner and Atlanta's rushing game. Essentially, our defense held Atlanta to only 17 points. 10 of Atlanta's 27 points came off great field position off of turnovers by our offense. One was an interception by Peyton Manning, and the other was a fumble by Sean Moreno, so you can't really fault the defense there. If you take away those 2 turnovers and the 10 points that came off of those 2 turnovers, our defense essentially held what is a very good Atlanta Falcons offense to only 17 points. So you got to be pretty happy with that. Defensively, I thought we had a solid outing given the circumstances. Once again, Atlanta was only 5 of 13 on their third down conversions. Our third down defense was much better here in this game than it was against Pittsburgh. I thought our defense got a lot of crucial stops, and our offense had plenty of opportunity to score in this game because our defense was really able to get off the field on third down. Now talking about some of the bad things we did here in this game, you got to start with the offense and the 4 turnovers in the first quarter, 3 of which were interceptions. 1 was a fumble, of course, by Sean Moreno. The 3 picks that Peyton Manning threw were all very surprising. I was shocked to see Peyton Manning throw 3 interceptions in a game, let alone throw 3 interceptions in a first quarter. And I was very surprised that he had such a poor performance, let alone a poor start. He did recover later in the game, but that first quarter was awful. The first interception he threw, I think, was on Jacob Tamme. Tamme needed it to come back more to the ball. I don't think that was really Peyton's fault, but the next 2 picks he threw were clearly his fault. The second interception he threw in this game was just a horrible decision. I have no idea what he saw in the defense to warrant the throw that led to a second interception. And then the last interception that Peyton Manning had in this game was just a case of him not putting enough on the throw. We were outscored 27-7 by the Falcons through the first 3 quarters. Just, I mean, again, you can't be inconsistent on the road and expect to beat a good team like the Falcons. You got to play 60 minutes of football, and we really only showed up offensively, at least, for that fourth quarter. I thought the pass protection wasn't great. The Falcons had 3 sacks in this game. They had 6 quarterback hits. They also had 6 tackles for loss. They did a good job of disrupting our offense and did a great job of rushing Peyton Manning and his decision making. There was a couple times in this game where Peyton Manning had to move up and out of the pocket because the pass rush was getting to him so quick, and had to make some throws out of the pocket, which is something you don't really see that often from Peyton Manning. And of course the 3 sacks you don't like seeing. I thought the O-line just kind of looked flustered and confused all game, and they kind of got beat up front by the Falcons defensive line and their front 7. I thought the Falcons did a phenomenal job of really kind of showing an all-out blitz. Every time they'd line up defensively, they'd have 9 guys in the box, and then every time Peyton Manning would audible or make an audible at the last second, they would just move a bunch of guys, and just they did a great job of disguising what they were doing. Mike Nolan, their defensive coordinator, got to give a lot of credit to him, and of course I'll credit all the Falcons defensive players. They just had a brilliant game plan. They executed it great. They really flustered and confused our offense here in this game. We were 4-12 on our 3rd down conversions offensively. We really were never able to sustain a drive, and obviously the 4 turnovers, you know, you start a game like that, it looked like we kind of got shell-shocked from that start. We did recover well in the 4th quarter, but it was kind of too little too late at that point. And just the 3rd down offense execution-wise was not good here. We really never got a conversion when we needed it. I mean, there was plenty of times there in that first half and even the 3rd quarter where we needed a 3rd down to continue a drive, and we just didn't get it. And you know, if we execute like that on 3rd down offensively against the Texans, it's going to be another long game. So 3rd down execution on offense was really poor here in this game. Another big reason we lost it. And as I mentioned earlier, the Falcons did a great job of confusing our offense. There was no rhythm to our offense. The no-huddle offense, really, we didn't do a great job at all of executing in that here in this game against the Falcons, unlike what we did in the first game against Pittsburgh. That was disappointing to see. We just looked flustered, we looked rushed, and there's no rhythm for us on offense here in this game. So got a lot of work to do offensively going into this game against Houston. Our pass rush wasn't as effective as I thought it would be. We only had 1 sack here, which came from Von Miller. I thought Von Miller was great all night rushing the passer, but he really never got any help from anyone else along the defensive front or in the front 7. We didn't really do a good job at all of getting to Matt Ryan. You got to give Matt Ryan a lot of credit. He was doing a great job of making quick throws and quick decisions, and that's why that was a reason why our pass rush wasn't as effective here in this game as it was in the game against Pittsburgh. But still, it seemed like it was Von Miller out there against 5 offensive linemen. He, like I said, he really got no help from anyone else along the defensive front or the front 7 in terms of getting to the quarterback. Von Miller was taking on double teams, was getting chip blocked by the running back and tight end like every play, and he still was getting to Matt Ryan, pressuring him, and then of course sacked him there, I believe, in the 3rd or 4th quarter. So Von played great, but unfortunately he didn't really have anybody else helping him out in terms of the pass rush, and that's why our pass rush really suffered in this game. And Matt Ryan did a great job making quick decisions and did a great job getting rid of the ball quickly, obviously, and not allowing us to get to him. He played well. He went 24-36 for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was phenomenal in this game, and he really did a great job of kind of nullifying our pass rush with his quick decision making. Tony Gonzalez and Roddy White were great in this game for Atlanta. They finished for a combined 15 catches, 172 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, you can't allow those guys to be that effective and have those big of games and expect to beat Atlanta. Tony Gonzalez ate apart our safeties and linebackers here in this game, and no one really could cover Roddy White in this game. He was huge for Atlanta, especially I think in that third quarter. There was a time where Matt Ryan completed like I think 3 or 4 straight passes to him. Both those guys were great for Atlanta's offense, and our defense had no answer for either Tony Gonzalez or Roddy White in this game. And just as a team, what we did poorly is we made a lot of mental mistakes in this game and mental errors. We had 10 penalties for a total of 96 yards. You can't have that again and expect to beat a good Falcons team. That's a lot of little mental errors and mistakes you're making. Now real quickly, just talking about some individual performances here, starting with Peyton Manning. Obviously not a great day and great game for Peyton. He finished 24-37, 241 yards, had a touchdown, and of course the 3 first quarter interceptions. I thought Peyton did a great job of recovering and recuperating from a horrible start in the fourth quarter. Did a great job of showing great leadership and good command of our offense. Got everyone kind of got their composure back, stayed poised, and made some good throws and made some good decisions there in the second half, mainly the fourth quarter. But he just had a horrible start. Already talked about the 3 interceptions that he threw, 2 of which were just really poor decisions and poor throws by him. And there's obviously going to be a lot for him to work on. And just the no huddle offense wasn't as effective, so that's something I expect Peyton Manning and the rest of our offense to really work on this week and really look to sharpen up our no huddle offense because of how poorly we ran it here against Atlanta going into this game against Houston. But I think Peyton obviously had a below average game, and hopefully he can bounce back against Houston with a better outing. Willis McGahee was phenomenal in this game. He had 22 carries, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged 5 yards per carry here against the Falcons defense. He was great, did a pretty good job of creating something out of nothing. The run blocking wasn't too bad here in this game for us, but there was definitely times where Willis really had no blocking at all, and he did a great job of creating something out of nothing, as I mentioned. And when he did get blocks, he obviously did a great job of finding running lanes and making some big plays and runs for us there in this game and in the fourth quarter. Had the 2 rushing touchdowns in the fourth quarter and just played real well. Willis McGahee was one of the few offensive players here in this game that I thought played well for us. Demaryius Thomas finished with 8 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. Demaryius continues his good play this season. 2 good games for him, off to a real good start. Obviously him and Peyton looks like they've got a rapport down, and hopefully they continue to build upon that here going against Houston this week. But I thought Demaryius was pretty good, made some nice plays. I thought the touchdown catch before the end of the half was a huge play for us. Great catch by Demaryius to tap that second toe in to get the touchdown catch. Phenomenal play by him, and once again he is off to a really great start this year. Eric Decker finished with 4 catches, 53 yards. I thought Decker was okay. He's kind of had 2 quiet games, so hopefully in this game against Houston he can make some big plays for us. I mean, 4 catches, 53 yards, that's a nice day. He even had a nice game against Pittsburgh. Like I said, he's had 2 kind of quiet, solid games so far this season, and hopefully he can have some big plays and make some impact plays for us this Sunday against Houston. And lastly, defensively, Von Miller I thought really played well. He finished with 3 tackles, two of which were tackles for loss, and of course had the sack on Matt Ryan. He did a great job of taking on double teams all game. Like I said, he kept getting chip blocked by a running back or tight end, so he was essentially almost getting triple teamed a couple times throughout this game. His spin move was awesome here in this game. He actually got Matt Ryan, the sack that he got on Matt Ryan was off of a spin move, and he was basically doing it all by himself out there in terms of getting to the quarterback. Offense has got a lot to prove, and they better play a lot better than they did here in this game against Houston. Comment below with what you thought of the Broncos' performance against the Atlanta Falcons, and I'll see you guys after the Texans game. So thanks for the support, and as always, go Broncos.